Hi everybody, my name's Meher Malik. I am the director of Banjara School of Dance, India's premier belly dance company. And I'm a mother to a almost 5-month-old little girl, Aroha. It is an absolute joy being a mother. So I'm loving this journey being a mother. I'm from Delhi, my husband's from Nepal, and we're raising a mixed child. So we're raising her mixed with a lot of languages, a lot of different music, and a lot of different cultures. So Aroha latched on to the breast instantly. As soon as, you know, when you have a C-section, you kind of have, and you've been injected with, anesthesia, you kind of have a shake in the body for some time after, you're just shaking, and they're covering your blankets and rubbing your feet. As soon as I was okay, after a little rest to feed Aroha, they brought her to be latched on, and she latched on perfectly. The problem started when I got engorged on the third day. My breast, I've always been a small-breasted lady, 32B. My breast became massive and I was not expecting it, because nobody tells you that your breasts are going to become huge and you're going to get engorged and really hard and painful. I had no idea. And then, I was like, okay, I've been latching Aroha, it's perfect. I bring her back to the breast, and for some reason, she can't latch on because it's too tight, and she's born only at 2.3 kg. So she can't latch on, and it's really hard for her. And the nurses said, "Aisa hota hai when somebody when somebody's breasts get too hard, it's normal for the baby to not be able to latch on. It's okay. We'll help you pump. You take out some, and then you can feed her." But you see, when you pump, that's demand and supply. So the more you pump, the more engorged you keep getting. So it was very difficult. We came back home after 5 days. In the hospital, because she was born small, they said that we'll feed her a little formula. I was like, okay, because you don't know what's happening to you. And then, you are after cesarean still resting, so they have to feed the baby. And then I breastfed her a little. So when I had colostrum coming in healthily, that was fine. But then after getting engorged, it was horrible. I came back home. The only thing that I could do, because my breasts were always engorged, I was pretty much milking everywhere. The floor would have milk. Wherever I'd walk, there'll be milk. T-shirts in milk. Aroha's face in milk. It was quite overwhelming for my little girl. And so I was like, it's okay. I'm going to pump. It's okay if I feel engorged and I'm uncomfortable. My baby needs to be fed. I was like, I want this birth and that and this and so many things I had planned in my mind, but it is never how you planned. I was visiting Divya Deswal, a hypnobirthing practitioner and facilitator. She's amazing. She guided us. I did a few sessions with her, but then, she'd keep reminding us, it won't happen the way you want it to happen. It's going to be, baby is going to decide how baby wants to come. And that's the truth, babies are really smart. They know how they want to come. And you know what? I couldn't have had a more beautiful birth, a more beautiful breastfeeding journey. Finally, after introducing the breast to her over and over again, on April 13th, 33 days later, I had a little journal where I was writing her feeding times and which times a bottle and which times a breast. 13th April was the day she finally breastfed many more times, and the bottle feeds were very minimal. I was like, you know what? We're getting there. And after that, I have moved into almost complete exclusive breastfeeding, except guilty. I want to get some sleep in the night because I'm also working through the day. With this current lockdown, it's brought in a lot of things that we were not prepared for, and I didn't really get to be on my maternity leave. 1.5 months down the line, I started working and teaching classes. My husband's a photographer. He couldn't get out, no functions, no weddings, you can't do that, any of that public stuff. And also we have a small baby, so we don't want to risk the baby's health. So he's staying home, helping me out with the baby, working on edits and things from home. But then I started teaching classes from home, and it was much sooner than I expected. But I was breastfeeding all through the day, all through the afternoon, all through the evening. The only time I wanted a few hours of rest, 4 hours, 5 hours, was when Ajay decided to help me out, and he'd stay up through the nights, and it still happens. He chooses to stay up, and he gives her pumped milk that I keep in the fridge, and which is 2 feeds per night, probably about 60 ml. She's not a big drinker in the night. She sleeps through the night and keeps drinking through the day. So she's always had a great sleeping schedule, and that's been a huge boon. I think for new mothers, it can be tough, I know. And sometimes your own family members would be of zero help to you, honestly speaking. They'd say things that are probably myths and redundant. One of the biggest myths being that, if baby's hands are cold, baby's cold. No, I later researched and got to know that the baby's circulatory system develops later. So in the beginning, baby's limbs stay a little cold, but in 3-4 months, it generates it fixes itself and it gets fine. So a lot of things I feel like women from the previous generation don't have access to in terms of information. I would say look up either a hypnobirthing specialist, lactation experts, doulas, midwives, look them up. Going to just the doctor is not enough, because what's happening is doctors are delivering so many babies on a daily basis that they are more concerned about the fact that, okay, we need to get this baby out healthily. That's the main thing. Baby and mama need to be safe. And that's where medicine comes in, and we have to feel very lucky for the fact that we have medicinal intervention. And that's what doctors are there for. But what you also need during your whole pregnancy is somebody to help you with fitness, somebody to help you with eating right, so you're getting the right kind of nutrition, not just gobbling on crap. Look up these experts, talk to friends, talk to families. Don't be affected by what would people say. It doesn't matter. Your health, your baby's health, your happiness, your baby's happiness is what is important. So many women suffer from postpartum depression. I think some of the remedies that worked for me best is, I think I have been drinking a lot of water. So that's best. I also have oats for breakfast, and that's great for breastfeeding. I massage my breasts and I do nipple stimulation. So nipple stimulation is something I feel like a lot of women don't know about, because that also I realized, it was by surprise the day that I got to know. I think on a last note, I'd want to say, mamas, you need to trust yourselves. The world is going to tell you you're not equipped, or you're going to feel you're not equipped for whatever reason. Maybe you can't breastfeed, maybe you didn't have your ideal birth story. Maybe your partner's not being as helpful as you want him or her to be. Maybe you're not getting the right kind of advice from the elders. Maybe they want, to be around the child when all you actually need is some personal space. Trust yourselves, communicate, and don't feel guilty for asking for what you need. You've gone through something big. You've done something amazing. Your body's organs have shifted to make space for a living being who's going to grow up to have her own thoughts. She's going to put her own gifts out into the world, her own skills into the world. She's going to put her personality into the world. You've done a huge, huge thing, and you never know. Your parenting could be the reason your child does wondrous things for this world. And I'm always here if anybody wants to reach out to me. My love and support is available to all mothers out there. I'm not an expert. In no way can my advice be taken verbatim or, as word of God. I'm not an expert, but I'm speaking only from my experience as a mother.